I know we have talked a great deal about this, and I'm not honestly sure that we can talk about it enough, given that now First Take is also going to Boulder, Colorado to do the show live from Deion Matters, Deion is Famous, Deion U, Deion and Deion's son are here to usher in a revolution, an apocalypse, some of the things that music feels like. Hip-hop is coming over. What's this about? It's loud. It's rebellious. It's different. It's black. It's don't disrespect us by dancing on our emblem. It's every television show is now going there to a program that last year, I will remind you again, one of the worst power conference things I've ever seen. It's not merely futility. I'm talking about I've watched Kansas play football for many, many years before the last couple where they've gotten competent. And what Colorado put on the field, it wasn't just bad. It was historically awful. And in 2 games, we're sending every television truck in the universe to go be closer to Deion so he can get a number as big as Texas, Alabama?
Can I ask a question that I don't want to be received as criticism in any way? Because I think that this is great. I think it's exciting what Deion's doing and all that. But do you think part of it is also like, we need to do this before it's not a thing anymore? Like, everyone's like, let's get
Absolutely
it on this
not.
before
It's never going to not
something.
be a thing. It's a thing forever. It's Little Coach Prime. He done turned the whole organization. We just said it. They did an equal amount of numbers as Alabama last week. That is a mouthful. Pause.
I can't believe what I'm watching here. Through 2 games, there is no circumstance under which you could have told me that this would happen and I would believe you. Deion, after 2 games, is going to have 2 Heisman candidates. He's going to have two Heisman candidates. He's going to have all of the television shows coming and genuflecting at the intersection of where it is that minor league football becomes professional football, and he's going to do better numbers than everyone in the sport. All your Matt Rules and all of these retreads and recycled people that you come to rescue your program because you go with the safe thing that's got a name as opposed to the unsafe thing that has a bigger name.
So he's responsible for this turnaround in 2 different ways. One is material, which is it's not the same roster as last year. He brought his own luggage, and it's Louis. And so it is not the same Colorado team just by personnel. But the other thing is the inspiration of what he does. And I saw this video from All the Smoke this last week. Tyson Chandler was on, and he was talking with Steven Jackson. They were reminiscing about when they played for Charlotte, and Michael Jordan showed up to practice one day, and Steven Jackson and Michael Jordan started getting into it, and Jordan said, all right, I'm going to suit up, and he took the second string, and he beat the starters. And the thing that both Tyson Chandler and Steven Jackson said was, he didn't actually play that well. Jordan didn't. But he pumped confidence in all these guys. They said DJ Augustine played like he was Steph Curry. And I was like, that's the difference. That's the kick. The kick isn't Michael Jordan at 45 or 50 or whatever could lead them. It's that he inspired these guys to play better than they ever played before. And I think that's a lot what's happened with Deion. Different players, yes, but also he's inspiring them on a level that I don't think regular coaches do.
But you're doing one thing, and the football success, we can sit here and talk about and wonder how good the team actually is. It's not what I'm interested in at all. The part that I'm interested in, and the part that legitimately shocks me, even though I understand what this person's past and his fame is, this is the part that is stunning to me. Oh, I've seen this happen before. When Miami and USC won all their games and then the Rappers wanted to be on the sidelines. I've never seen a phenomenon happen in 2 games. Never covering this sport have I ever seen 2 games of, oh, and now here comes everybody. And this isn't about a sports story. No. This is about supporting a dad and his son and all they represent as something that's totally different than the sport they've just taken over in 2 games. The phenomenon of this is bigger than the sports story. And now all of television is descending upon a program that has not mattered for 30 years based on 2 games of the phenomenon. Do you know how much winning and excellence you have to produce for the phenomenon to be on your sideline? It's never in 2 games. Just never in my lifetime covering sports is it in 2 games. You have to work for years in order for Snoop Dogg to say, I want to be a part of the USC program. In order for Luther Campbell to say, I want to be a part of the University of Miami program. And it takes years of, we kick your ass, we tell you we're going to kick your ass, and then we remind you that we just kicked your ass. It doesn't happen in 2 games. And it's here. And you're saying maybe it goes away. Maybe it does. But I don't think that a renegade program that's supported by the Outlaws, man, do you remember when in the music videos in the 90s, when NWA is wearing the sports paraphernalia because they want to represent a certain something? I've never seen 2 games of this program hasn't mattered for 30 years. And now you're telling me that everyone is going because they just want to profit off it? They just want to profit off of what is near Deion Sanders?
I think one of the most impressive things about this is, one, Colorado has blown out all of our expectations just 2 games in. But what Colorado and Deion have done so well is capitalizing on the Prime brand while he was there. Their university admissions commercial has Prime in it all over. Their social media following skyrocketed. Like, they have made it cool to be a Colorado fan.
I want to go back to something that we asked before and put it up as a poll question. Who is the biggest star in the world? Is it Bad Bunny? Is it Taylor Swift? Is it Beyonce? Is it Messi?
That's the one, because you're out here saying, I haven't seen it. It took 2 games where everyone wants to be associated with it. Saw it 2 months ago.
In college, I've never seen it. Forgive me. I don't mean that I haven't seen it professionally. I mean, I've never seen it in a college atmosphere where I've watched when these programs represent a renegade style that people want to wear the jackets because it represents not Colorado winning football, but it represents what Deion represents to people.
Is any part of this the microwave? The where we are as a society, that things happen fast? Kind of not to Billy's point, but in the point that everything is so ephemeral and it happens quick and it happens fast, and you want to be there first in a way that if it happened 20 years ago, it wouldn't be after 2 games. Maybe it'd be after a season.
Cristiano Ronaldo has 3 times the social media followers as Taylor Swift.
It's also the biggest story in college sports right now, and not to rain on the parade, because that's not what I'm trying to do. There's no good games this week. You know what I mean? So they're gonna go cover a game. So why don't we do this? And then you're headed after that into Oregon and USC, and then things feel differently if the team's potentially 3-2. You know? So this is a time where it's well, where do we want to go? Let's do it now.
What they're doing isn't overly complicated. They're looking at the ratings. And they're feeding the machine, and the machine will only get bigger the more they feed it, because they see an opportunity with ratings. They see something tried and true. That's why First Take is going there. They're not going there because it's exciting. That may be the root of all this. They're going there because it puts up numbers.
Yeah, and I like to argue it hasn't been just 2 games. People have been rooting against Deion since he's been at Jackson State. Yeah. This story started back then. This is just the next chapter of that story. So it seems like 2 games, but this story is the one. This is Deion. This is prime time himself. This is, can he do it? You root for Mayweather to lose. People are rooting for Deion to lose, so they pulling up.
Well, you say 2 years, and you say that Travis Kelce is risking people hating him. It ain't 2 years with Deion. It's 30. It's not 2. People have been rooting against everything Deion Sanders, but that's what rock and roll was. That's what hip-hop is.
Rooting for him, too, though.
But that's what it is what I'm saying. When you wear the Raiders jacket as NWA, you're signaling to everybody, yeah, we know you hate us. And that's part of it. And we draw numbers. And look, we're in a spot where First Take needs us now. You say there are no interesting games. Colorado hasn't played one of those in 30 years. And what? No one's ever come to be around it. First Take, Fox, Game Day, they need Deion. 2 games in, it's not that Deion needs them. He's fine. He doesn't need them. They don't need to show up this weekend. He does not need them this weekend. They need him. After 2, what are you talking about? That the entertainment industry that we work in, you're telling me there are no good games, and I'm looking at you, since when has Colorado played one of those?
I think something that Colorado's done well is they've taken this media just hype for what that team is and what Deion is, and they're embracing it. They gave out 800 media credentials last week. They are welcoming all the praise, and they're using it to amplify their brand.
It's nuts. This isn't I don't know how much this changes. Do you realize the coaching salaries have gone totally insane? Totally insane for results that aren't this. Scott Frost got hired because he was going to bring something like this from UCF to Nebraska. What is this worth when it's not about football, it's not about winning, it's not about program building? The currency of the day is, can you get attention and are you cool? Polarizing doesn't matter. What does he care about? Who's more uniquely equipped to deal with polarizing than someone who's done it for 30 years? Like, what is this worth when he's paid for his salary, doubled it, tripled it, quadrupled it, the life of his contract, it's already been paid for by 800 media credentials. Who can buy that, and what does it cost? What does it cost to buy that if right now your Nebraska or any of these tradition-rich programs that believe college football was supposed to belong to them, what is it worth in the modern age when you get a pioneer who doesn't mind polarization, who is welcoming the entire media to the circus because he's a content machine and he's been a content machine for 30 years, and we all realize together, oh, holy shit, Deion's son can play. Those throws are crazy. Crazy accurate. Question Texas Christian all you want. Question Nebraska all you want. But none of us dispute, oh, really? He's going to play back there like Manziel, and he's going to loop around, and also he can throw the ball 40 yards, and, his receiver should have caught that one because it was on the money. It's not just that, it's obvious that Deion's kid can play.
Imagine if he had no line.
Well, give him time. Unfortunately, he won't be there by the time that time is because he's going to. You don't think Deion Sanders has realized already that he's underpaid?
No, when you were saying, like, what is the value, what is that going to be worth, my first thought was more than Colorado can afford. I think he'll be gone in 2 years to an SEC school that can pay him so much money.
Oh, but he's more valuable in college than he is in the pros because in college there's not a salary cap and he can bring 50 of his soldiers. He can't do that.
His luggage, not his soldiers. And it's Louis.
You mentioned that.
Texas A&M going to give him a lot of money.